Yes, I'm Martha Oliver Sayles from Mesquite, New Mexico.
And I'm Danley Sayles from the same place.
And what got you into the quarter horse business?
I was raised on a good-sized ranch over near Alamogordo in Otero County. My people came to New Mexico in the 1890s and settled in that area. So I was raised on a big ranch there, you might say. And my dad, from the very beginning of the registration of AQHA horses, and then there was a National Quarter Horse Association also, and he started having registered or accumulating registered horses, and we rode good registered horses on that family ranch for nearly 50 years,
Oh, wow.
and etc. So then when Deli and I married, well, we'll go into that later, why we just kind of took up the raising horses.
Oh, great. So how long have you been breeding quarter horses?
Well, when I got out of college, I went home and worked for my dad for 15 years on the ranch. And during that time, Danley and I married. Danley was an agricultural banker at that time, and we lived on the family ranch, and I continued to work for my dad. So I have that background and that history of raising good horses. My dad raised the first, my dad and we raised the first world champion quarter horse that was in New Mexico, and
Oh,
we
wow.
owned the sire. Danley and I owned the sire of that horse, which became the first world champion sire in New Mexico. He also was an AQHA champion. So Danley had a mare or so, and we married, and then we just went on. It was kind of all
built in.
conglomerated together with the family ranch.
And that painting is Mr. Tough McHugh.
Which was a world champion, first world champion sire.
And you still have the same bloodlines?
Yes, we do.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
They worked for us. They worked for us. And it may offend some people, but we stay within the Skipper W bloodlines, plus or minus there.
Okay, great. Let's see here. About how many horses do you sell each year?
Not as many now as when the economy was better.
Yeah.
But we've been here built this place 41 and a half years ago, and bought 40 acres here. Danley did, of course. We were living on the ranch, and we started the place at this time. That time we built everything that is here, designed it and all. And so we used to run about 15 brood mares to 2 to 3 stallions. We've cut way down now, and of course, and then but we sell between 12 and 15 horses a year, which to some people doesn't sound like a lot, but we run a small hands-on operation.
Yeah, great. And what do you breed your horses for? Are they racing horses or ranch horses? Everything?
They're
Well,
not racing horses.
Not racing
They're not
horses.
racing horses. My dad really liked a horse with a lot of speed, and he and my brothers roped, and my 2 brothers were great calf ropers. And if you all rope, I don't want to offend either one of you, but there's more skill in calf roping than there is in heading and heeling,
Yes.
and all. But we've always raised an athletic horse, but a pretty horse. Pretty horses sell. And then a horse with a tremendously good disposition.
Okay.
And that was one of the things my dad focused on, and that is primary in our operation. That if we raise a mare, hopefully we don't raise a mare with a bad disposition, but we trade for a mare that has the type of bloodlines we want. And if 2 of her colts are bad, that they're mean, they buck, they paw, they kick, she'll go to the sales ring. We're through with her.
Okay.
Somebody else can deal with her.
Great. So what's the perfect quarter horse look like to you guys?
An athletic horse.
Athletic.
An athletic horse. Pretty head,
Yep.
high neck set, short back, long hip, long underline, correct, and all. I said it, and both my husband and I have been AQHA judges for 35, nearly 40 years, I guess. And at some point, AQHA retires you due to age, but I still judge 6 other breeds of horses. But I said in an AQHA judges seminar several years ago, a man got up, who leads a lot of halter horses, got up and he told what the perfect horse looks like. And I said, you know, I did not hear you say, Chip Noss, that that horse has to be athletic. And he said, oh no, Martha, they don't have to be athletic. He said the athletic horse is judged in the afternoon. You're judging the prettiest horse there. To us, they have to be athletic. And so therefore, they make rail horses. We've raised some good English horses. We've raised some good roping horses. A photo around there of a stallion we raised from this horse that went in and won in 7 events for the year, and that included working cow horse, heading, heeling, pleasure, halter, western riding, on down the line. We've raised several world champion reining horses and some world champion trail horses and world champion pleasure horses, but not pleasure horses the way they go in this day and time.
No. What do you mean by that?
If you haven't seen them, why they're camped in, half circle almost, their hind legs aren't driving from the end, their back end, their back's not rounded, they're just all, we call it four-beating. They're maybe loping in the front and they're trotting in the back. Okay. And so we raise a horse that rounds its back, gets its hind end under, and moves in a pretty manner. We want a good flat knee. That's what you look for now.
Okay.
Probably told you more than you wanted to
know.
No,
that's great. That's perfect. Great answer. Thank you. What specific traits do you look for in a stallion or a mare?
Probably the first thing is disposition, their bloodlines, disposition, and then a balance in a horse. We don't want a horse that's real heavy in the front. They're not good movers, nor do we want one that's slight in the front with both front legs coming out the same hole. And we just want, again, a good athletic, balanced horse. Long, slim neck, long hip. As I said before, short back, long underline.
Yep. How much do you generally spend on feed each year? Or do you grow any alfalfa or hay? Or?
In the early days, when Danley bought the 40 acres here, we grew hay. We had quite some bit permanent pasture, but we found out that we can purchase our hay cheaper than we can raise it.
Okay.
And so hence we sold quite a bit of land. Dollar amount, let's talk about number of bales. We feed the 2-string bales. It's just easier for our health and all. We have a man in the barn, Hispanic man that's been with us over 20 years. It's just easier for all of us, and to do the 2-string bales, and we probably feed, maybe nowadays between 3,000 and 4,000 bales a year.
Oh, wow. And how many horses do you have on this facility now?
Well, right now we're at the lowest point we've ever been, so I kind of hate to say, but
that's all right.
But we probably have about a total of 15 horses here right now.
Okie doke.
And used to run close to 30, 25 to 30.
Oh, okay.
Let me say this: being raised in a horse business is that when the economy is down, you cut your herd. We know people who gather horses, and I was taught, and Danley knows, being a banker, an agriculture banker, that if the business is not flourishing and or the economic situation is bad, you cut the low end. And another thing, in selecting this, it goes back to another question. in selecting brood mares, if a mare consistently raises the tail end of the colt crop every year, the
Right.
cheaper in the cheaper colts, she also goes. Somebody else can raise those cheaper colts.
Okay. Let's see here.
Good questions. You have this all lined out.
Yeah. How do you differentiate yourself from other breeders? Just
What do we,
How do you differentiate yourself from other breeders? I think by the fact that we have stayed within bloodlines, and we have had a type in mind that we wanted to raise.
Okay.
The all-around good athletic horse.
Okay.
We know there was a young couple down near El Paso about the time we started our place, and we ran about 15 mares. They had about 10 or 12, and his idea was to raise a different looking colt all the way around, and that way you had one for every buyer that came along.
Mm-hmm.
No, we want people to come here for our type of
Yeah.
horse.
Great. If you don't mind me asking, what's the most you've ever sold a horse for?
I'd rather put it that what have our colts gone ahead and sold for,
Yeah.
because so many years and up until the economy dropped,